Hello, Meoni here. Welcome back to another store-related update video. Today, the 27th of August 2025. Today we have the previous year's Rising event items, including the authentic Rising table lamp, which is a glowy lamp on a table top surface, and we also have the brushed up Kryl minion, which is the previous year's Rising event minion reward, as well as a brand new item, which is the main feature of this video. We'll get to that in a second. There is also a sale currently on. This will last until 9/10/2025 at 11:59 p.m. PDT. So if you want to get yourself some specific items, I mean, it seems to be on a large range of things, everything from hairstyles to Fantasias, actually, from mounts, outfits, job boosts, basically everything you could probably imagine. It's probably worth you going and having a look yourself. Some of the percentages of discounts are greater than others. But of course, we're focusing on the new or repeated items that are added to the store today. So first of all, the previous year's Rising event items are $5 a piece, the brushed up Kryl being $5 and the lamp housing item $5. The new outfit we'll look at in just a second is $18, called the alternative attire. In my own currency, that works out £11.16 for the outfit and £3 for the Rising items, both the minion and the lamp. And in euros, lastly, we've got €13.50 for the outfit and €4.35 euros for the previous year's event items. So then, this particular new item, which is the most exciting part of this, is a 5-piece set that is designed to look, well, edgy and gothic, maybe. I don't know what terms you want me to use for this, but yes, it is an alternative set, complete with a hat with a visor command to put an eye patch on your character that has bubbles. It has a choker that's spiked on the top there, as well as tattoos. The wrists, I believe, have tattoos attached to them. There's basically different sort of looks there for different race sizes, but for the most part it's largely the same, just a little bit squished up for a Lalafell. Really cool back there, of back of a t-shirt with those little tribal sort of tattoos. I'm not sure what else to describe those as. And a brief look at the die preview, but we're going to have a better one in the game in a second, obviously. And there's a quick look at what the leggies look like, which are pretty nice actually, pretty cool with chains on them, etc. And then the boots are spiked boots. All right, heading into the game then, this is what the actual set looks like on my character. It is a very interesting set of 5 pieces, and I quite like it actually. I know recently I said I didn't really like a lot of the modern armor that we've been getting. I say armor, but glamours that we've been getting through PvP and the like. But I think this is kind of acceptable in my book because there's so few pieces of alternative gear in the game, and the alternative set does exactly that. It adds a bunch of items that personally I would have loved to have seen in the game. It is actually quite breathtaking. This hat then is the first major feature of this, and as you can see, it's got an eye patch across your left eye, your character's left eye, with these little pom-poms here that blow around in the wind. It's quite nice, isn't it? Sort of cat ear headpiece basically. And as you can see, the other feature is that you can use the visor command to turn on and off the actual eye patch. Here's Fran next to me here demonstrating what it looks like without and with. So depending on if you like the actual eye patch, you don't have to have it, which is a really nice feature, especially if you want to use some face wear, because that's probably going to clip with it. So some set pieces then as they are on their own. This is the top then. I remember in the last video we looked at a cash shop video, or a PvP update video, I think it was. I forgot to do the top separately. I apologize for that, but this is what the top looks like separately. We've got little tags on the side. It comes with tattoos on the arms, this sort of big collar with sort of like a dog collar, actually, a spiked dog collar, and it's got a little love heart locket on the front there with lots of other silverware jewelry as well, which is quite nice actually. It's quite interesting. Nice big logo on the front of the t-shirt. It's pretty good, actually, although it does come below the waist, which means a lot of skirts will probably clip with that. These are the alternative bottoms then, and I really like these. I can see myself using these in multiple glamours. There's a lot of hidden detail on this that you wouldn't see unless you'd taken off the top. Also a preview of the gloves as well, which are those wrists. But this is what I was talking about. On the back right of your character, on the bottoms, there's actually a little teddy bear on a chain. You would not normally see that if you were wearing the full attire. I think that's a really nice detail. I really like the teddy, and it makes me want to use something that isn't too baggy on my character. The shoes then are spiked, as we know. I would have preferred big full-length boots, like New Rocks or something like that. There are some already in the game kind of like that, though. But these are quite nice, also demonstrating the obvious dye palette difference between the soles. So it looks pretty good on my character and other humanoid featured characters. But what about characters that are not basic humanoid model? I mean, firstly, let's just show you what it's like on a male. This is a Rugadin, right? Apparently, I've got to pronounce it Rugadin and not Rogadin. I have no idea, don't ask. The comment section told me this, and that's what that looks like. And then when we come to stuff like Aura, that has special features, including the tail, it clips exactly the same as you would expect with a Mikote, but the horns don't appear to be too clippy, which is quite nice. I thought I'd demonstrate that with the hat. Lalafell, obviously, their ears are pointed. Looks perfectly fine. A lot of the Lalafell stuff, obviously, is squished down a bit, so the texture quality dips. Hrothgar, yeah, honestly, looks fine. Yeah, it's nice to see Hrothgar and Viera included in one of these videos. Although for Viera, you might want to make use of the new 7.3 feature to allow you to toggle off your ears, because that's what it looks like if you have your ears toggled on your character. Yeah, so the cat ears and the bunny ears don't really fit, but at least you've got a toggle. So let's move on to looking at this then as front and back with dye palettes. So both the primary and secondary palettes going in different directions in terms of our chosen dyes that we normally go through. It looks pretty interesting in a variety of colors. I prefer darker colors for this. I mean, it does match the alternative sort of theme for this thematically. I do think that some of the second dye palette choices are a little bit questionable. Mostly on the hat. Like the eye patch being the secondary palette is fine and all, but if you have the visor command toggled on, it would have been really nice to dye one of those strips, like one of the actual, you know, the stripes, like the black stripe would be nice to change the color of, and that would have meant more customization. But I suppose you're supposed to, you know, make use of the eye patch. Personally, it's not my cup of tea, and I'll probably end up toggling that off whenever I use this hat. Yeah, bright colors, it sort of washes out a lot of the detail, but you've got some really good combinations like carmine red and jet black. Looks absolutely gorgeous, as you would expect, right? Silver dyes don't really seem to reflect on this texture. I'm not really sure what's different about this texture from some of the other textures in the game, but it's definitely like a matte. It absorbs a lot of that color. So if you're looking for something a little bit more vibrant, but not on the palette that you've seen, the metallic dyes might be a good option for you because they don't have much reflection, or at least the boots do, I guess. But like the shirt and the hat and the pants don't really have the same light reflection that metallic normally would. But yeah, honestly, I really like this set. I'm surprised. I did not expect to actually like something like this, especially modern wear. There's another shot of those spiked shoes in case you didn't get enough earlier, and of course dye previews on those, just some random dyes put together. Carmine red, jet black there, metallic green, brass there. It's just, they're really nice. I do wish, like I said though, that they were a little bit longer, maybe even thigh highs or knee highs. Moving on then, just to show you that that's how the palette changes on the hat, which is, yeah, still one of my least favorite parts. Like, I love the hat, but my least favorite part about it is the dye options. It would have been nice to have the stripes different color, maybe the pom-poms, but at the end of the day, at least it's a black color for the stripe. Could be a lot worse if it was something that didn't match, you know what I mean? It's going to be quite easy to match that color. And yeah, the leggings as well, which are probably one of the hidden gems of this, I personally think, especially with a little teddy bear. Just to give you an idea of how the actual gloves die, so there's your primary palette, and your secondary palette affects the other side essentially. So yeah, they are slightly different. I've put Fran next to my character as close as possible, just to show you the tattoos do not change color. I think that was the demonstration I was going for. The other advantage of this is, because it's cash shop, this can be stored in our armoire, so no more glamour taking up space in your glamour dresser, which is super important. I thought it'd be interesting to put together a couple of bits and pieces, and as you can see, you can find the alternative stuff on number 2 of the fashion list. Yeah, so different skirts, variable, different, success rates. Some of the newest shorts look pretty good. I was worried about the safety pins at the bottom of the t-shirt looking a little bit weird and clipping with things. That's not going to happen too much, actually, because they don't allow anything to protrude and appear. For example, Dawntrails, which is unfortunate, but we know for a fact that would be a clipping nightmare anyway, and presumably it's because it's too far below the waist. Things like the wintertide skirt and the some of the other skirts from the armoire will look pretty good on here. Most notably the collagiate stuff, right? The collagiate attire. That is a beautiful skirt that goes really well together with that. It's just kind of like the same sort of matched style, isn't it? I just put together a couple of random glams. You've got your oracle's legging feet there, collagiate skirt, and the alternative top with that hat. And it doesn't look too bad. It might be tricky at the moment to come up with some ideas for the top, but it's certainly easy to come up with ideas to go with the hat. We already did a video on this particular glamour. I think the hat is actually a much better suit for this glam than what we had originally. It looks really cute in pastel pink there with the new PvP top. Very, very cool stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think about this set, and if you plan to pick it up, make sure you go and have a look at the sale. There might be something you've been wanting to get that's been full price for a very long time. Great opportunity to go and do so. Much love, more videos on the way, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.